You could say I have a clamp addiction, or possibly a little OCD with clamp organization. Either way, I love my clamps and I love my organization. Using some scrap plywood, this video is all about making a clamp wall rack, and it's going to be super easy and I'm going to maximize my yield. This scrap plywood is approximately 3/4 of an inch thick, 4 feet long by 2 feet wide. When it comes to sheet goods or even scrap plywood, I try to maximize my yield, so I usually do a lot of layout lines and take my time with this area, as I want it to be precise and get as much out of it as possible. Maximizing my space in my workshop is super important. I work out of a 2-car garage. That's right, 2-car garage. It's a little less than 400 square feet, so my room and space is tight, and I have to be as efficient as possible. And as a carpenter, we usually accumulate a lot of clamps of different sizes for different needs, but it's hard to store them, so I have to come up with creative ways, and this was one of them. Look at this fool not using the push stick right beside him. Toss some wood over your shoulder for good luck. I'm gonna need it. All right, I finished my stack. Now it's time to go over to my miter sled. I'm gonna be using this to cut my 45s. This one and this one, as you can see, I'm yielding 2 pieces. But if you don't have a miter sled, you could easily use a circular saw, a miter saw, you know, something like this one. Let's double check these things are cutting precisely. Yeah, pretty smooth there. Yeah, I like it. All right, time lapse engaged. I'm cutting 16 pieces, although I'm only gonna need 12. I like to cut a little extra for that fudge factor. Going over to my miter saw, I'm going to cut the back plate support. And I'm going to go back to my reference lines now. And I want it to look something like this. Alright, I figured out all my spacing. I'm putting an X everywhere a board needs to be so I don't mess up. These are the clamps that we're going to be hanging today, and they have a little weight. So I decided to notch these pieces out for extra support. Now, if I moved my hairy arm out of the way, you could see what I'm doing. I'm simply scribing lines where I'm gonna notch this. Then I'm gonna go over to the bandsaw and start cutting. But if you don't have a bandsaw, you could use a jigsaw like this one. I'm so grateful for all the clamps that I've been able to accumulate over the years, because when I first started, I didn't have any, and I used to cry and just pray and beg, why can't I get more tools and clamps? And somebody heard me, because now, after all these years, I've got pretty much all that I need. Look at this friction fit. That was pretty nice. Now let's just make a couple more reference marks, because I want to place lines on the back of this so I can brad nail it and do screw holes. Did I lose you? Are you still there? All right, let's move on to the next step and drill some holes. After making reference marks with my combination square, I decided to drill the holes. Obviously, you don't have to be that precise on the back of this board, but sometimes you just can't take the OCD out of me. Using a little Titebond 3 glue and some brad nails to hold it in place, I was then able to tell this is going to hold a lot of weight. It's a strong friction fit, plus glue, plus nails, and eventually screws. Lately, I've been making a lot of DIY plans for my builds, and I'm kind of enjoying the process, but I wasn't sure if I should make some plans for this build. Comment below and let me know what you think. Say, yeah, Donnie, plans would be nice, or Donnie, you flat out suck and it's not necessary. All right, let's go ahead and hang this on the wall. I drilled some holes where my studs were gonna be, grabbed my level, and went zip, zip, zip. Put it in place, and it was almost ready for the next step. Boom. Let's put these clamps on and pray this thing doesn't fall off the wall. What do you think? I promised you it was going to be a simple build, wasn't it? It's holding all this weight. It looks really cool. I might pull it down off this video though and recenter up the location, but I'm really loving it and it looks dope. What do you think? I was able to build this rack and film this video in one day. So this is a pretty simple build. I would assume if I wasn't filming, it probably would have taken me a half a day. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.